What's up, guys? So I don't usually have long intros to my videos. I like to just get right into the chess and what I'm talking about, but this video is going to be an exception. So if you don't want to hear the story about what happened and the life update, you can just jump to the chess part. I'll put a timestamp down below. But for everybody else, I'll tell you what happened. So we actually have been traveling for the past few days. I haven't been home. I wasn't even going to say anything. I had actually scheduled out videos, so I recorded them ahead of time and then just scheduled them to post every day while we were gone. And I was going to just today start recording again and just kind of keep going, and you would have not even known that we left, right? But I decided to go ahead and tell you what happened because of what happened when we got home. So like I said, we've been gone for a little while. We were gone for about 5 days, and we get home late last night. Thankfully, we had a flight. We were flying Southwest, which if you've watched any of the news about Southwest, lots of flights were canceled. So I'm thankful that ours was not, and we were on a plane home. We have 3 kids, and so the whole traveling experience was a bit draining, to say the least. Haven't really had a good night's sleep in about 5 days. Anyway, we get home late last night, and one of the first things that I usually do when I get home is to go inside just to make sure everything looks okay. Nobody broke into the house and that kind of thing. So I go in, and I'm doing my routine. I'm checking the different rooms. I'm checking the kitchen. I get to one of our bathrooms, and I see water everywhere, like massive puddles just completely covering the floor. There was a rug in there that was totally drenched, and I'm hearing a dripping. It's weird because it's not raining. And if my first thought was like there must be a leak or something, but I'm like, it's not raining, like what's going on? Turns out one of the faucets was on just ever so slightly, and instead of dripping into the sink, it was kind of dripping behind onto the counter and dropping onto the floor. It's kind of hard to explain, but the water was not going where it was supposed to, causing the flooding. Like I said, we'd been gone for about 5 days. It smelled really bad. It had spread to the closet and to the bedroom next to it. So it's on the floor there. It's in the carpet. It's a mess. It's a huge mess. And so it was quite a night. So I'm telling you this because for the next several days or weeks, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, I'm going to be very busy dealing with that. It was in our master bathroom, so it's right in the middle of all of our stuff. And so anyway, that's what happened. Because of that, I'm probably just going to be posting puzzle videos like this one for the next several days until we sort this out. These are some of the easiest videos for me to make. I find a puzzle, I talk about it, I post it. Relatively straightforward. Some of my other videos I spend a lot more time on, which I don't have right now. So that's what happened. It's a huge mess, but we'll figure it out. I'm thankful still that we made it home, like I said, from all the flight stuff. So anyway, having said that, let's get into the puzzle, and we'll talk about this position. First things first, white's pawns are going forward, black's pawns are going down this way. If you would like to pause, what do you think the best move is for white? All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, so there's kind of 2 moves that probably should jump out at you. Number 1 would be we could capture the rook with our pawn, or we could move our king to the side trying to get a queen, right? Those are kind of the 2 major options. I mean, you could play b7, but black just takes it. Doesn't really do much for you. You could play c5, I guess, but black could also just take that. So if you take the rook, the problem with that is black's going to simply take, and your king is stuck. You can't do anything except push your pawn. Black's going to probably push their pawn, and ultimately what we're going to get is a stalemate, because black doesn't want to, let your king out and you get a queen, and if they push this, you simply get a stalemate. If they try king to c8, it doesn't really help. You still play c7 and c6. We get the same kind of situation. Black basically has to stalemate you somehow, like this. It's a stalemate. So it's just a draw. You can't actually win. So let's go back. So because of that, we don't want to take the rook. The best move is king to b8. And the idea is pretty straightforward. We'd like to get a queen by pushing our pawn, right? And it looks pretty difficult for black to stop that. I mean, how does black stop you? If they take, well, we have another pawn that we capture with and we still get a queen. They can't go here. And this pawn is obviously way too far. So it doesn't look very good for black. However, they have a very clever idea. And it starts with the move rook to f7. We're going to get a queen. Right? Obviously, they take the pawn. And notice how black is threatening to checkmate us if we're not careful. Like if we just make a random move, this is going to happen. Or if we try to move our king, right? The rook's going to come back and skewer and take our queen. So what we need to do is play c5 to check. And the point is we're forcing black's king to give us some breathing room, right? The queen is cutting off this, the pawn is attacking the king. It's going to have to either come back or take our pawn. So if it takes the pawn, I apologize, I'm also getting sick. If it takes the pawn, we simply take here, and we've dealt with this threat of losing our queen from the rook check. However, there's another idea, and watch this. Rook to f8 check. And basically what black is going to do is keep putting us in check, back and forth, back and forth. And you might say, well, why don't we just walk our king over to the rook, right? So like we could go here, and then if check, we could go here, and then if check, we could go here. And now black has no more checks, right? Wrong. Black's going to play rook to f7 check anyway. And the point is that if we take it, guess what? This is a stalemate. Sorry, it's a stalemate because black has no moves, but they're not in check, right? It's a weird looking stalemate nonetheless. So that's black's idea. And regardless of where, if we don't take the rook, he's going to keep putting us in check and force us to take it, right? Check, 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 check. So that's kind of the idea. That's the problem. That's black's trick. So if you'd like to pause, what can we do instead? So instead of moving our king over like this, what should we play here as white? All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is queen to c8 check, forking these guys and basically sacrificing the queen. Now, why would we want to sacrifice the queen? Here's why. We're going to end up with a really weird and unique endgame that's actually a win for white. That's the point. So check this out. Black takes it, we take, and it looks really good for black. It's like, isn't black just going to come up here and take our pawns and then get a queen? The problem is our king is actually closer than it looks. And so watch what happens. Black comes up here trying to take this pawn. We come up, and when they take our pawn, we take black's pawn, and the only way black can defend this is by going to d4 with their king. Otherwise, we're just going to take their pawn, right? But after they go here, we have a winning move. If you'd like to pause, what's the winning move here? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, this one's pretty easy, but we play king to f5. And we're putting black into Zugzwang, which means they have to move somewhere even though they don't want to move. Like if they could just pass, say, I don't want to move, your turn again, the game would just be a draw. Nobody could really do anything. But because the rules of chess say, you're not allowed to pass, you have to make a move, black is forced to move their king somewhere that no longer defends the pawn, right? And so if they come here, we simply take it. We're going to eventually push our pawn and win that way. If they come over here, this is also going to be a win because our king is boxing their king out. They can't ever get in front of our pawn and stop it, right? So it's a winning king and pawn endgame, basically. Now, black has a little trick, and it's the move king to d3. And if they play king to d3, watch what happens if we try to do the same thing. We take here. They take our pawn first. They left us with this one, but it doesn't really matter because as soon as we push it, they come over and they're going to take it. And we just end up with a draw. So it looks like it's just going to be a draw, right? However, going back to here, after they play the move king to d3, we have a clever idea. So what is the winning move for white from this position? All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is c4. Which looks mind-boggling. It's like, what are we doing? We're just like playing like a beginner. Just here, take some pawns, right? Here's my c pawn. Take that one too, right? The point is, we're actually defending our e4 pawn by pushing c4. Even though it's kind of a weird concept. The point is that if black takes, now this pawn is gone. See, before black was able to catch it, now they can't. It's too fast. Boom, boom, and we get a queen before black can, and we win. So because of that, black is obligated to take this pawn and not our e-pawn. And now watch what happens. We take, they have to defend their pawn. And do you recognize this position? It's the exact same position we saw before. We have the move king to f5, Zugzwang. Black has to leave and we win. So fascinating endgame where the way that you win, going back to the beginning, was by getting a queen, but then sacrificing the queen a few moves later to enter into this weird king and pawn endgame, which is actually a win for white. So really nice study. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I thought it was pretty cool when I checked this one out. I'll see you next time. I need to go and probably start tearing up the floor in our bathroom. So that'll be fun. Yeah, if you have any advice, feel free. Put it in the comments. I'm open to what you guys have to say. I'm sure there's some people out there that could tell me a thing or two. So if you have any advice, let me know. I'm all ears. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. As always, stay sharp, play smart, and don't flood your bathrooms. and take care.